All right, this is Mike Lahti from Lost St. Brewery, and we're being joined right now with Nicholas the Feelin David. How you
What's
doing
up,
today,
Mike?
Nicholas?
Pretty good, Mike. How are you, buddy?
Good. It's been a while. We should add a disclaimer right from the start. Nicholas and I have known each other since probably the early 2000s. So we've
I'd say we've even dipped to the late '90s, bud.
Yeah, that might be it. But we've been around. He's played a couple of my birthdays with the White Iron Band. And
Oh yeah,
then when he had his run on The Voice, I was off doing stuff out of Minnesota. So I wasn't able to be a part of all that hysteria.
right,
So we're
right.
going to catch up on probably about the last 15 years, but we're also going to talk about the upcoming gig here, May 21st at Lost St. Brewing Company. We are almost sold out. I think we got about 10 tickets left. And so, yeah, with that, welcome, Nicholas. How you doing?
Thank you, Mike. Pretty good, dude. Pretty good. Just got the kids off to school a little while ago, putting the finest and finishing touches on the new record, and
Yeah.
just kind of look at the calendar, man.
Well, let's dive into that real quick. How about this new
Sweet.
record? Who all are you working with on it? When's the last record since? How long's it been since you recorded an album?
Yeah, I mean, I've been recording actually this record since I finished the last record, which was in 2019. My last record was Yesterday's Gone. I recorded it down in New Orleans with Samantha Fish. She produced it, and then we took that overseas. And before we did that, though, like I started working with Dylan Na, who's my longtime buddy, and we've been working together since like 2005 or six, and we just started making tunes, and then the world got wild and we kind of stopped, and then we picked it up again. It was kind of wild because I had a band. Half of my band was in Omaha, and so
Okay.
then I had sent Dylan and I would record it in Minnesota, then send them the tracks in Omaha, and then they would send it back. So we started that way, and that was kind of 2021, and then we dropped it for a little bit, and then really picked it up strong in 2023 and been pulling in and putting the finishing touches on. We got 12 tunes. It's sent into mastering. Man, we're through the moon.
Yeah.
So excited about it. It's called More Than Music. Some other guests on it. Terry Vanderwalker, buddy Terry Vanderwalker from the Big Loose playing drums. Jake Baldwin on flugelhorn and trumpet. Dylan Nas like all over the guitar. And man, Max Santiago on drums. And then all the dudes from Omaha, David Hawkins, Jacob Sorensen, Mitch Town on organ. It's wild, man. It's pretty cool. Jennifer Grimm also. Jennifer Grimm and I, we create these like Nick and Jennifer choirs
Okay.
of just like they're the background vocals, man. It's wild. I'm so excited. So much texture and layer and feeling and heart. Music from the heart for the heart.
Good deal. I'm looking forward to hearing that. Assuming we're going to get a preview of a couple of the songs when you're here on the Thursday.
Yeah, I've been kind of, putting them out just a little bit here and there, and it's so yeah, I'll definitely kind of got to get them acclimated, as we're pulling them more from the dream state and more to the physical for sure. I'm not sure which tunes, but definitely probably play a tune or two and hit some from the voice and some from the catalog. I've been releasing my own music since about 2005, alongside even some of the White Iron tunes that I've been playing again, like Milk Cloudy and Walking Cane, the two my grandfather taught me.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Walking Cane was always one of my favorites.
yeah.
Gave
Well,
you
well,
showcased your voice perfect, going back and forth with Hondo. It was a really
thank you.
cool tune.
Yeah, dude.
So, in the
Speaking of White Iron, quick, right? You got a mention in one of the tunes.
yeah, that's oh boy, that was way back when. Little tune called "Drunk in Duluth."
Yeah,
Uh,
baby.
I think it was inspired by one of the birthday parties.
Yeah.
Uh, Matt Putis is something else. He's played here at the brewery, so everybody is
Oh, cool.
pretty familiar with what he's been up to. So
Okay.
it's great. And so backtracking a little bit, you said you've
Yeah,
been
dude.
working with Samantha Fish or worked with her.
Yeah.
She's came on like gangbusters onto the blues scene.
Yep.
Now, was she at that stage of her career when you were working with her, or was she just getting her feeling, her feet on the ground and all that stuff without diving into this being a
Yeah.
Samantha Fish interview?
Yeah, I think she was already crushing it before that. Like I had around 2018, I did a show in Minnesota with Devin Allman,
Okay.
and he brought a 4 piece and he didn't have a keyboard player, and I opened, and then we played together, and there was this magic, and a musical conversation that we then continued, and so he's like, "You want to come try playing in the Devin Allman Project?" And that was all these cats out in St. Louis and Devin. And then when we went on the road, he's like, "I'm going to bring my buddy Dwayne Betts." And so then Devin and Dwayne started, and then that kind of, all these people coming to see him, like there was this magic there. Wow, there's a Betts and an Allman on stage again.
Hmm.
And so that's like the Devin Allman Project featuring Dwayne Betts started. And then we just started going around the world, man. And going around the world, I met this gal named Samantha Fish, and we caught each other's attention. And then before I knew it, her manager, I can't remember what gig, we were somewhere out east at this really cool theater, and I got a call from a New Orleans number. He says, "How do you feel about coming making a record down in New Orleans?" And I was like, "Oh man, let's go." It's pretty wild, man. So playing with the Allman Kids led to meeting Sam, and in that whole blues circuit, like we did a blues cruise, and we did like a rock legends cruise. I mean, dude, we were on this boat. I was in the artist lounge, drinking a ginger ale, listen to Canned Heat, the remaining members of
Yeah.
Canned Heat, kind of like complain about their slot time. When they had to, I'm like, and I love Canned Heat, dude. Not Canned Heat. Uh, it was Canned Heat going up the country and stuff. The
Yep.
remaining
Yep.
members of Canned Heat complaining about their slot time. And man, I was like, I never would have thought in my life that I'd ever, just there was these wild moments. Or we got to see um that one tune, Dust in the Wind. Who sings that?
Oh, Kansas.
Dude, on the deck of the ship, the ocean blended with the sky having a moment, and like the song, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you gotta
Oh,
be
oh,
kidding.
that was all that was missing was Will Ferrell singing backup, right?
Seriously, dude.
From
Yeah, dude, or like Roger Daltrey, like he looked like a mountain lion. I don't know how old the cat is now, but just the fierceness. It's been so wild to, and a blessing to start to interact with the stuff we grew up listening to, and it's a
yeah,
it's a really wild treat.
yeah. I kind of have that same issue, Um, after I left Minnesota. Well, in Minnesota, we were booking bands, doing work up in Duluth, and just got my name around and to say I'm friends with the drummer of Jane's Addiction and got a beer named Perkins Palace after his recording studio. I'm like,
That's
crap, my
awesome.
first CD I ever owned was Jane's Addiction, Nothing's Shocking. So it's
Awesome.
super cool and very, very surreal to have that be a part of your life. And all of that, I mean, for you, has to trace back to the voice. So, what was that experience like? Going through the auditions. How did you get the thought first that hey, I'm going to try this and see what I can do?
Yeah, Lahti, buddy. I was doing I was doing like voiceover work, and my voiceover agent, she was like, "How do you feel about going on The Voice?" I was like, "Absolutely not. No, thank you." And she's like, "Well, I submitted your video, and there was 1 out of 50. They wanted the bearded guy in the snow playing guitar."
Nice.
And so one other wild part was I had a scholarship to sing jazz in high school, and um to go to Chicago, but I turned it down. It didn't feel right. And because of that, though, I met the White Iron Band. I met you. I met like my path. But I had a regret of not taking that jazz scholarship in Chicago. Also, in that same year, I had January to March booked every weekend except the first weekend in March. And so my ego was kind of singing, and also I'm like, I had one kid, I had 2 kids, and we would later find out we had another one on the way. So my job was to provide. And I tried to keep filling this March so I could be like, I have January through March filled, which was pretty rare. January through March and the entertainment industry isn't the most hoppingest of months.
Right.
And man, so rewind back to the thing, 1 of 50 in the snow. We want you to come and do a private audition. And I was like, wow, where is it? She's like, Chicago. I'm like, wow, that's where my scholarship was. That could have potentially elevated my life to a new level. Wow, a chance to squash regret. When is it? The first weekend in March that I tried to keep filling that God kept open. So I feel, man, this whole thing, even now, still has been when you kind of listen to that calling, you find your gifts that God gave us. Our job is to actualize those gifts and share those gifts and
Right.
turn it into action. And I feel that this is the result of that was like listening to that and just staying on that current. I mean, I couldn't believe, I remember we did that and then we had to go back to do these other auditions where some of the executives were there. I mean, dude, there's thousands of people, thousands.
Mm,
And I'm like, they're all like partying at the bar, and I'm going to my room and like praying and ordering green curry and putting cashews on it, steamed bok choy, just be like, what am I doing? This is wild. I miss my family,
yep.
and then all of a sudden I'm on the show till the end. I couldn't believe it. It was wild, dude. The place where they filmed that was I love like Bela Lugosi, those old Universal monster movies, Boris Karloff, the staircase when Bela Lugosi comes down the stairs when Renfield's in the place, or
Yeah.
Jonathan Harker, excuse me, or Renfield, I'm not sure which one, but when he's coming down the stairs, that's in that same room. The laboratory where Frankenstein's monster is brought, it's alive. That
Yeah.
same room.
Wow.
Bride of Frankenstein, and then for continuity, Mel Brooks. Because I was talking to all the people, dude. I'm such a freaking librarian, music, movie nerd. I was like, learn all this. One of the afternoons, I got to go chill in uh, the neighborhood where the clock tower saved the clock tower and Back to the Future.
Right. Right.
Dude, I had them take me down to the defunct old Jaws ride, dude. Are you
Wow.
kidding me? Like, dude, I was a kid in a candy store. I kept even asking, like, hey, man, like, because we're here and Universal Studios is like right next door. Like, you think we can ever go there? And finally, they were like, top four gets to go into Universal Studios. So, dude, we got to blow through all the lines. Dude, we went through Universal Studios in like 10 minutes. It
Wow.
was
That's
a, it was
awesome.
it was a dream come true. They had a freaking Starbucks underneath the fan, where the fans sit. They had
Okay.
a Starbucks where you could just order all the fancy drinks that you want, dude. No got to pay a dime. You couldn't pay for it. So everybody's just humming on coffee, dude. It was crazy.
Nice. Now, when you were doing that, how many shows a week were you recording or a day? I
Oh,
know it
dude,
got
they
to
did
a
it
point
all. Like,
of being live for a
yes,
while.
they'd rehearse. Man, it'd be full stuff. Like, I think being a parent prepared me for this, like the lack of sleep and just go, go, go. Like me, we're recording, we're rehearsing, going in and then making the single for iTunes,
Yep.
recording, doing the production, doing the individual numbers, the group numbers, special guests, interviews. We'd have to go, dude. That was one of my favorite. We get to go to the news station and drink coffee and like we do these satellite feeds and just talk to everybody. Jim Henson's best friend was our media trainer, dude.
That's pretty sweet.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, it helps with you being the charismatic person you are.
Oh, that's
To
too
do
kind.
the interview phase, I think helped showcase who you were. And I think that helped drive a lot of what became you on The Voice.
Thank you.
The fact you were really good,
Thank
but
you.
when they showed your side of who you are, I think that helped push you to the top and get you even further up there.
Thank you, dude. I had like friends were calling saying people would call me and say, "Is he really like that?"
Yeah,
And
and all us who knew you are like, yeah, he's really like
dude,
that.
did you? I just had a piece of toothpick on my mustache for the whole time.
No, you didn't. At least I couldn't tell. Well, we'll rewind it and check it out.
I think I
If
did.
um if as we do some editing, there's just this
Yeah.
white blot there instead. That's us hiding that toothpick. um, so so you come on and you play. Was it "Lean on Me" as your audition?
No, stand. I did the
Stand by
audition.
Me. Yeah, yeah.
Stand by me.
And when CeeLo Green turned around, Was that who you thought was going to turn, or did you have
That's
a
what I was, I mean, I was
feeling of
hoping.
what was going to happen?
Yeah, honestly, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was unbelievable. My
Yeah.
leg kind of buckled a little bit, dude. I was playing a guitar and I didn't even have a gall dang strap, and the thing was like heavier. And they're like, play. I was gonna play my guitar, but my guitar was nothing compared to this guitar they had. And then they're like, play this one. It was like huge, dude. A
What?
wild thing too. Before I went out there, like we were getting ready to go, and then they had some light issues, and so I had to wait. And then I'm like kind of sweating, and they're like they put in the beginning they put some makeup on me, but my skin's sensitive, so I didn't like want to put any more on there. But in the beginning I had some and it started to come off because I was sweating because it's so freaking hot, and I'm like holding this guitar. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wild. And it was so crazy because there was doors and then a TV, and you could see the judges, and you're like, wow, they're I mean, they're on TV, which you're used to seeing, but then I'm like, whoa, they're freaking right behind those doors.
Yeah. And
And I'm like standing there like,
were you able to see them while you were performing the on the video?
no, like while I was performing, their chairs were turned, and then when
Okay,
it turned
okay.
around, like I
You
was
didn't
out there.
have
I'm
a
saying,
video monitor.
no,
Yeah.
before I
Okay.
went out, you know what I mean, like in the holding bay before I went on the stage.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And then I was like, and then after they got the makeup reapplied, then they're like, well, hang on, let's do a couple hover shots where they're gonna put their hand above the buzzer. And I'm like, oh dang it, you got to be kidding me. And I had to like wait even more, sweat it again, and then makeup had to come over again.
Well,
And I'm
they had
just
to get the perfect shot for you, right?
hilarious. And then I'm like going out there without a strap and playing. And yeah, man, it was wild business.
Good deal. And then through that, I mean, you got to work with Bill Withers.
Dude, that was
How
unbelievable.
great was that?
It was unbelievable. We were going to rehearse the tune, and it was the first song that I was getting to play piano. Like we kept pushing. I was supposed to play piano, or at least they were tinkering with the idea that I was gonna do "Power of Love." That was the song before that,
Okay.
on piano, but they didn't. And so "Lean on Me" was the first one. So I was already excited, to go into rehearsal and play the piano with those dudes because I kind of became friends with the band because I'm also a musician, and would go hang with them when we'd be rehearsing and just like talk with them or talk music and listen to them because they got wild stories. Some of the rhythm section was James Blunt's rhythm section. Oh, Mirkovich, he was Pink and Cher's music director.
Okay.
And he also helped organize freaking horror movie director John Carpenter's some of his music that he composed for his films. He would edit it.
Nice.
Unbelievable, dude. So many cool stories. But so yeah, we were in there. But that day I decided to do a freaking samurai ponytail in my hair. I don't just because that's how I had to meet Bill Withers. And we're like sitting there playing. Nobody knew. Nobody knew he was gonna come. Like there was rumors that he might have called in because he was kind of a recluse.
Mm-hmm.
Was gonna play like over the speakers where we were practicing. But dude, then all of a sudden the door opened and in came Bill Withers, man. It was CeeLo's mouth dropped wide open. Everybody was like, you kidding me? He looks so sweet with his white beard, dude.
Nice.
And it was pretty wild. Like CeeLo had a diamond in his tooth. And Bill Withers was like, can we get hair and makeup over here? CeeLo's got something in his tooth. He was like, come on, Bill. Come on, Bill.
That's pretty sweet though that it even surprised him.
As
It's
I'm saying, dude,
that he showed
unbelievable.
up, man.
Yeah, and I mean it was cool too. And then when I did What's Going On, Scott Mail, the sax guy, that was the dude that played with Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was
Oh,
like unbelievable, man. Like again, the interacting with what you kind of grew up listening to is just again a dream come true, and I can only thank God for it.
nice. Well, let's reverse in a little bit and go into what you grew up listening to. We talked about St. Paul, Minnesota, going to high school there, having a chance for a scholarship, a jazz scholarship, and not taking that. But then you start pounding away and pounding the pavement in the Minneapolis scene. And I got to know you in the Duluth scene, which was wild too, because I think back to that Duluth scene. We had the White Iron Band, we had Trampled by Turtles, we had Dukes of Hubbard, Eric Koskinen, Teague Alexi, who you've
Yep.
worked with. Dukes of Hubbard. We had Hallie, Hal, Haley Bonner. We had a great music scene happening in Duluth, and I was
Dude,
just be blessed to be a part of that.
Black
And
Eyed Snakes,
yep, Black Eyed Snakes. And Lowe
Charlie
was
Parr.
the grandfather of all that, right? Oh yeah, Charlie Parr.
We
And
can keep going. Holy buckets, dude.
yeah, well, and one of my all-time favorites still is Jim Hall and Azure de Jure. Those guys, Jim Hall plays 7 days a week in Blue or in Duluth and never had a real job, just worked music. And
Hey, music's a real job, baby.
well, sorry, you know what I
I'm
mean.
just kidding, Mike. Mike, this interview is over.
But it was fascinating to be a part of that community and now see all of that grow. And from my standpoint, I was doing radio up there for 10 years, doing KUMD, and all these people are coming through saying, yeah, we love what you're doing on the radio. And I'm like, cool, now let's get it going with the music. And that's when I started reaching out to everybody saying, okay, I'm sick of driving to the cities to see a gig. So why don't you come up here and play? That started at Bev's Juke Joint, moved into the tap room where a good friend Andy Gamache was. And somehow this magic occurred there. And a lot of you folks are having national success. I know you and Teague have done an album together since, you know,
Yeah, we're actually
I
gonna get
guess
together. We're getting back together in April. And gonna play some music together. We're really excited. I'm gonna dust off the new folklore, dude. Yeah, baby.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
So
that's shaking
yeah,
down.
how do we
Maybe we bring that down a little sidebar. Maybe we bring that down south, huh?
yeah, I think we bring that down this summer because we're hoping to have a stage up outside for the summer. So I
Dude,
think
that'd be
it'd be a
sweet.
great place to do it.
That'd be sweet. All
Yeah.
right.
So going through all that, you know, I guess from those side projects, White Iron Band, Big Woo, now who you've sat in with a couple times, what has that taught you about all the styles of music you do? And how do you blend your technique to fit other band styles as well?
Ooh, that's thank you, Mike, for that question. I think playing with all those people has been such a gift and such a blessing. It's like it's been a soundtrack to life, and then also then they become friends, and then we become family, and then we become like I always look at music more like music's all just music, and we like put costumes on it to try to again, bring understanding to it, like this subjective thing that hits each of us differently. And it's like we always, oh, that's country music, that's blues music, that's rap music, that's rock music, that's Christian polka music, like it's all these words we put on it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's rhythm and vibration and feeling and heart, and whatever it is to you. But I just feel like I just be me. Sometimes I've played in some bands where they're like more like we got to play it like the record. Like, oh, can I would do a line and they're like, oh, you did that line on organ. Can you do like a string patch? And I didn't really like that, and I didn't get to play with that band too long because I kind of bring my interpretation to it. And I mean, I think that's what people know. It's like, even with the band, it's like the feelin band was always like, here's the tunes, these are the chords, but kind of play what you feel to a degree. I feel like that's part of in this world of like a lot of division and constraint. I feel that's a place where freedom can lie is in music. You have the ability also to transcend time. Time disappears sometimes when you're locked in that
Yep,
group.
gotcha.
Amazing. So I maybe that kind of answered your question. I think.
It gets a general idea out there, I think.
Sorry, I feel like I started getting all existential.
That's fine. Both of us get so many random thoughts going in our head. I think part of it is because one tangent goes through, to another, everything just keeps rolling. So, yeah. Well, I got a little flash on the screen saying we're running out of time here. What I'm going to do is say a couple more questions. So, influence wise, obviously, we've talked Bill Withers. If you had one person you could sit down and talk to in the music world and just pick their brain, who would it be?
Alive or living?
Live, dead, anybody.
Do
Just,
you like that? Do you hear what I said?
yep, alive or living.
That's my tired brain coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
I
We only got a few more minutes, man.
Yeah, I have a joke I say too at the shows. I'm like, how many kids do we have in the audience?
Yeah.
And like only a couple people clap. I'm like, that's a trick question. You're all someone's kid. You forgot.
Yes. Yes, there it
So
is.
I mean, if it was I would like to honestly speak to my grandpa again.
Okay.
He played the accordion. That was one of the I don't want to get emotional. That was one of the biggest influences of my life. I'm a big family man. I come from a big family on both sides, and we'd have so many get-togethers, birthdays and holidays. And if I have a scar on my arm somewhere around here when I was 4 from dancing to my grandpa's polka in the unfinished basement in St. Paul, dude. Had to go to the hospital. I remember with my uncle Ron and my dad to get stitches, and then go back, and my grandpa's like still playing in the basement, like always on the accordion or on the piano. And
Awesome.
out of like 25, I think, grandkids, my cousin Alyssa and I were really the only ones that played piano. And Alyssa read music, and I read, but I also feel it and hear it like my grandfather. So we'd always just be jamming, and it was electric, man. And I miss that dearly.
Awesome.
But
That's great.
that is the hugest foundation of who I am. Where even walking cane, dude. That's he taught me that. We played that.
Yep.
We kept playing that and playing that and playing that. Then when What Iron was like, you got a tune, and I was like, yeah, Milk Cloudy, and they're like, you got another one, and I was like, yeah, that's tune my grandfather taught me.
And that
That,
was on Take It Off the Top, if I
yeah,
remember
baby,
right, album.
yeah,
So
walking cane, baby. That's my grandfather, dude. Vern Rosinski, dude.
that's awesome. And yeah, a lot of that obviously shows in what you've been doing with music. You hear that in your songs. Uh, and I think that's a lot of obviously what drives you and has led you to this point. So all I can say is it's been great knowing you for however many years. We're going to have a lot of fun next Thursday, May 21st, here at the brewery. We only got about 10 tickets left. We'll get this somewhat edited up, cleaned up, and get it posted to Facebook here today. And can't wait to see you, Nick.
Yeah, Mike, thank you for all that you do and continue to do, man. I look forward to working with you again, buddy.
All right. Sounds good. Peace.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
Yep.
make sure to take out the toothpick from the.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what we can figure out on that. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Peace.
lot, man. All right.
Later.
Later.